Just minutes ago, unsettling details began circulating about Alice Cooper. News so unexpected that even longtime fans are struggling to process it. For decades, Cooper has been known as rock's ultimate survivor. While others faded, he reinvented himself. While chaos consumed his peers, he stood firm. And while the spotlight destroyed many, he somehow walked away stronger. Or so it seemed. Behind the shocking stage persona and theatrical image lies a man who has quietly carried battles far darker than anything seen under the lights. According to newly revealed information, the truth about what Alice Cooper has been dealing with away from the public eye is far more serious than anyone realized. And the timing of this revelation has left fans deeply concerned. Sources close to the situation suggest that this isn't just another rumor or exaggerated headline. It's a culmination of years of strain, physical, emotional, and personal, finally coming into focus. For a man who built his career on shock, this moment isn't staged. It's real, and it's deeply troubling. Those who know Alice best say the warning signs were there, hidden in plain sight. Missed appearances, subtle changes, quiet decisions that now feel like preparation rather than coincidence. What's emerging now paints a picture that challenges everything fans believed about his unbreakable image. As details continue to surface, one thing is clear. This story isn't about spectacle. It's about a legend facing a reality no amount of fame can shield him from. And once you hear what's been revealed, you'll understand why fans around the world are holding their breath right now. For more than 5 decades, Alice Cooper has stood as one of rock music's most indestructible figures. While the industry changed, trends faded, and entire generations of artists burned out, Cooper remained touring relentlessly, performing with precision and maintaining a presence that felt immune to time. To fans, he wasn't just a musician. He was proof that survival in rock and roll was possible. His reputation was built on contradiction. On stage, he embodied chaos, darkness, and shock. Offstage, he was known for discipline, routine, and control. That balance became part of the legend. While others were consumed by excess, Alice Cooper publicly turned his life around, becoming a symbol of recovery and longevity. For years, that narrative reassured fans that he had beaten the odds permanently. But longevity has a cost, one that often goes unnoticed until it's impossible to ignore. In recent years, subtle changes began to surface. Nothing dramatic, nothing that made headlines. Just small shifts that longtime followers quietly noticed. Fewer public appearances outside of scheduled commitments. A more measured pace. Occasional cancellations that were explained briefly, then moved past. At the time, these moments were brushed off as normal adjustments for someone who had already given so much of his life to the stage. What fans didn't realize was that behind the scenes, pressure was quietly accumulating. Alice Cooper has spent decades on the road, living by a schedule that allows little room for rest. Night after night of performances. Constant travel. The physical and emotional demand of delivering the same intensity year after year. For most artists, that pace becomes unsustainable long before Cooper's age. Yet he pushed forward, not out of obligation but out of identity. Performing wasn't just his job. It was who he was. Those close to him now suggest that the warning signs weren't sudden, they were gradual. A legend doesn't fall overnight. Instead, the cracks appear slowly, hidden behind professionalism and experience. Cooper was known for never letting the audience see strain. If something was wrong, it stayed offstage. The devastating nature of the recent news lies not in shock value, but in realization. Fans are now confronting the possibility that the strength they admired may have required more sacrifice than they understood. That the resilience they celebrated may have been built on endurance rather than ease. What makes this moment especially heavy is Alice Cooper's history of overcoming adversity. He had already faced public collapse once and emerged stronger. That past victory made it easy to believe he was immune to future limits. But time doesn't negotiate. Even with legends. Sources close to Cooper emphasize that this situation isn't about scandal or sudden downfall. It's about accumulation. Years of pressure. Years of responsibility. Years of carrying an image that never cracked. And now, the weight of that image is being reassessed. Fans are reacting not with disbelief, but with concern. There's a sense of collective realization that even icons deserve rest, privacy, and space to step back if needed. The shock isn't that something is happening, it's that it took this long to acknowledge the possibility. Alice Cooper has always controlled his narrative carefully. That's why the current uncertainty feels so unsettling. When a figure known for certainty and command enters a moment of quiet ambiguity, it forces people to listen more closely. This is not about endings, but about reckoning. About understanding that endurance doesn't equal invincibility. And that even those who master reinvention eventually face a moment where preservation matters more than performance. In. We'll look at the recent developments that triggered this wave of concern and why fans believe this moment may mark a turning point in how Alice Cooper approaches his legacy. The concerns surrounding Alice Cooper didn't begin with a single announcement or dramatic moment. Instead, it built quietly, through details so small they were easy to overlook. Longtime fans now realize those details may have been signals, not coincidences. And taken together, they tell a story that feels far heavier than anyone expected. In recent months, Alice Cooper's schedule appeared slightly altered. Not canceled entirely, not abandoned, just adjusted. A show postponed here. A public appearance shortened there. Each instance came with brief explanations that felt reasonable on their own. But in hindsight, fans are connecting dots they didn't know existed at the time. What made these moments unusual was Cooper's history. He was famously reliable. Touring wasn't something he did occasionally. It was a constant. He prided himself on consistency, on showing up no matter what. So when that consistency shifted, even subtly, it stood out to those who knew his patterns best. People close to the situation have suggested that these changes weren't impulsive. They were deliberate, careful, almost protective. Rather than pushing through at all costs, Alice appeared to be prioritizing restraint, something he rarely needed to do before. That alone sparked quiet concern behind the scenes. Fans also noticed a tonal change in his recent interviews. Still sharp, still composed, but more reflective, more measured. He spoke less about future plans and more about appreciation, more about legacy than longevity. At the time, it sounded like wisdom earned with age. Now it feels like preparation. What's important to understand is that none of this suggested panic or crisis. That's precisely why the latest news feels so devastating. It wasn't dramatic enough to brace anyone. It arrived wrapped in normalcy, which made it easier to miss. According to those familiar with Cooper's inner circle, there was a growing emphasis on balance. Less strain, more rest, fewer unnecessary commitments. These aren't alarming choices for most people, but for someone who built a life on relentless momentum, they marked a shift in philosophy. Fans began sharing observations online. Not rumors, reflections. He seems different. Still great, but slower. More careful. Individually, these comments meant little. Collectively, they formed a pattern of awareness that something had changed. What makes this moment especially emotional is that Alice Cooper never invited concern. He didn't ask for sympathy. He didn't frame anything as a struggle. That restraint now feels intentional, an effort to protect both his audience and himself from premature alarm. The devastating nature of the current developments lies in that restraint. People are realizing that Alice Cooper may have been carrying more than he ever allowed to show. That the calm exterior wasn't denial, it was dignity. This has sparked a broader conversation among fans about how legends age in public. How strength is often mistaken for endless capacity. How audiences sometimes forget that resilience doesn't erase limits, it just delays them. There's no scandal here. No collapse. No sensational reveal. Just the sobering recognition that time eventually demands adjustment, even from icons who once seemed immune to it. For many fans, the hardest part isn't fear. It's gratitude mixed with concern. Gratitude for everything Alice Cooper has already given. Concern for what continuing at full speed might cost him now, and that's what makes this moment different from past scares or rumors. This feels grounded, real, human. We'll explore how Alice Cooper himself is responding to this moment, and why his recent choices suggest a man focused not on spectacle, but on preservation. As concerns spread, one question kept surfacing among fans. How is Alice Cooper himself handling this moment? The answer, according to those close to him, is very much in character. Calm, deliberate, and quietly resolute. There has been no dramatic statement, no emotional appeal, no attempt to control the narrative through spectacle. Instead, Cooper has chosen intention over noise. Behind closed doors, his approach has shifted toward protection rather than performance. Not retreat, but refinement. Decisions that once would have been automatic are now considered carefully. Where he once measured success by how much he could endure, he now measures it by sustainability. That change alone speaks volumes. Those in his inner circle describe a man who is deeply aware of his legacy, but not obsessed with preserving an image. Alice Cooper understands that legends aren't diminished by restraint. They're strengthened by it. And in this moment, he appears more focused on longevity of purpose than visibility. What's striking is that Cooper hasn't framed this as a crisis. He hasn't presented himself as fragile or overwhelmed. Instead, he's acknowledged reality without dramatizing it. That balance is difficult, especially for someone whose career was built on theatrical extremes. But this chapter is different. It's grounded, honest, mature. Friends say he's been reflective, not nostalgic, but thoughtful. Conversations have turned toward meaning rather than milestones, toward impact rather than output. That doesn't mean he's stepping away from music or abandoning creativity. It means he's redefining how and when he gives it. This shift has resonated with fans in an unexpected way. Rather than panic, many have responded with respect. There's an understanding that the man who once shocked the world now has nothing left to prove. He earned the right to choose balance on his own terms. Importantly, Cooper has maintained his sense of humor and perspective. He hasn't allowed concern to turn into fear. Those who know him well say he's still very much himself. Sharp, observant, grounded. But there's a difference between being strong and being invincible, and Cooper seems content acknowledging that distinction. What's happening now feels less like an ending, and more like a recalibration. A reminder that evolution doesn't stop just because a career spans decades. In many ways, this may be one of the most honest phases of his life, free from expectation, free from excess, free from the need to outrun time. Fans have noticed something else too: gratitude. In recent moments, Cooper has expressed appreciation more openly for audiences, collaborators, and the simple fact that he's still here, still creating. That gratitude doesn't feel like farewell. It feels like clarity. There's also a growing sense of trust between Cooper and his audience. By not oversharing or sensationalizing, he's allowing space for respect rather than speculation. He's letting people understand that care doesn't always come with explanations. Sometimes it comes with quiet boundaries. For an artist whose career thrived on control of chaos, this controlled stillness is perhaps his boldest move yet. It shows confidence not in image but in self-knowledge. As fans wait for more information, many are realizing that this moment isn't about devastating news alone. It's about recognizing humanity in someone who once felt larger than life. That recognition is uncomfortable, but it's also deeply connecting. We'll look at what this moment means for Alice Cooper's legacy and why stepping back, even briefly, may ultimately strengthen the story he leaves behind. As the initial shock begins to settle, fans are starting to view this moment not through fear but through perspective. Alice Cooper's legacy has never been about how long he could go without stopping. It has always been about reinvention, control, and knowing when to change course. And that is exactly why this chapter, though unsettling, feels strangely fitting. For decades, Cooper defied the narrative that rock legends inevitably burn out or fade away. He survived eras that swallowed others whole. He adapted when the industry shifted. He maintained discipline where chaos once ruled. That history matters now more than ever, because it reminds people that stepping back is not the same as giving up. What's becoming clear is that this moment isn't erasing his achievements, it's reframing them. Fans are recognizing that endurance isn't only measured in performances or tours, but in the wisdom to protect what you've built. Alice Cooper has already proven everything he needed to prove. There is no unfinished validation left to chase. Many longtime followers are expressing a new kind of appreciation, not just for the music but for the example he's setting now. In an industry that often glorifies pushing past limits, Cooper's restraint sends a different message: that preservation is strength, not weakness. That knowing when to slow down can be as powerful as knowing when to go all in. There's also a growing understanding that legacy isn't frozen in one era. It evolves. And this phase of Cooper's life, quieter, more deliberate, may become just as meaningful as his most explosive years. It humanizes him in a way fans didn't realize they needed. Importantly, nothing suggests that Alice Cooper is disappearing. Creativity doesn't vanish simply because pace changes. Those closest to him emphasize that music is still part of who he is, just not at the expense of balance. That distinction matters. It means the story continues, simply on different terms. What fans are learning is that legends don't owe constant access to their audience. They owe honesty to themselves. And by choosing care over excess, Cooper is protecting not only his well-being, but the integrity of everything he's created. This moment has also sparked a broader reflection among fans about aging in the public eye, how expectations can become burdens, how admiration can quietly turn into pressure, and how important it is to allow icons the same humanity granted to everyone else. Alice Cooper's career was built on theatrical extremes, but his longevity was built on control. That control hasn't disappeared, it's simply being applied differently now. Instead of dominating stages, it's guarding time, energy, and purpose in many ways. This chapter may deepen his legacy rather than diminish it. It adds context. It adds truth. It shows that survival isn't just about outlasting others. It's about adapting with clarity and dignity as fans continue to process the news. One sentiment is becoming clear. Concern is mixed with respect. Fear is balanced by gratitude. And admiration is shifted from spectacle to substance. Alice Cooper has already given the world more than most artists ever could. If this moment teaches anything, it's that legends don't fade when they choose care. They evolve. And sometimes, the most powerful statement a rock icon can make is knowing when to protect the life behind the music.